Hello and welcome to AFL Legends Unite. I'm Darryl Atkinson, and we're going to kick off what has been a very interesting round of football with the Friday night clash between GWS and the Western Bulldogs, and it was a very interesting game of football. The Dogs just they really just such a pressuring side. They easily got a lot of turnovers from the Giants, which really cost GWS in the end. I shouldn't say in the end because they did win the game, but I think it was the Dogs themselves that really lost them the game in the end. Just that inaccuracy, 9 goals, 19, that was horrendous. Besides that, they really had full control of the game. They really did. They had 8 more scoring shots, and they really just admired those turnovers. The pressure was sensational, and I feel like GWS, they don't know how lucky they are to win that game of football. They were just, it was just really pure luck in the end by the Giants. But there was a lot of worrying signs that we saw from them. They were easily managed by the Dogs, but thanks to the Dogs defeating themselves in that game, it was just really disappointing. No doubt Beveridge will be fuming with it, with the way that their forwards performed. And just looking at probably the main player that didn't perform too well. Who was it? There we go. Yeah, it was Dunkley. 0 goals, 4 behinds. That was pretty shocking. He had his opportunity. McLean, 0 goals, 2 behinds. You need to take your opportunities when you get delivered those opportunities by the midfield. And they just failed to do that. The Western Bulldogs. It was a really bizarre game of football. I was watching it, and it was quite even in terms of most of the stats until you read the hit-outs. It was the hit-outs that was very interesting for me because the clearances are even. They're very even. They're 40 to 38. But then you read the hit-outs, and it's 62 to 25 in favour of the Giants. See, they smashed that. They smashed that. Absolutely flogged it off the face of the planet. It was just disappointing that they just couldn't get those clearances. The hit-outs were just really poorly done and managed by Mumford. It was just a very bizarre game. Obviously, these two sides are starting a rivalry, and it was a thrilling game, a 2-point win in the end. But I just felt like the Dogs had more control. They were a bit more dominant in subduing the Giants. It was really themselves that let them down in their scoring opportunities. Inside 50 count, and I'll just give you a little insight to that. 63 to 50 in favour of the Dogs. However, the Giants won the marks with 10 to 8. So they've been doing it all year. The Dogs, they've been struggling up forward to actually convert goals and to actually hit up targets. So they really need to find a legitimate forward because obviously Cloak's out, but even he started to struggle after the first 2 rounds of football. So you really got to hit those targets. You got to really I also understand that every shot counts. Every shot's crucial. You need to hit them, and that's what the Giants managed to do. They kicked 3 goals. Yeah, 3 goals, 3 in the last quarter. The Giants to 2 goals, 2. But it was really that second quarter that was quite interesting. So the Giants were very accurate. They kicked 3 goals, 0 behinds. And you look at the Dogs, 4 goals, 8. 4 goals, 8. That's horrendous. That was where most of the opportunities came through. It was just forcing those Giants to turn the ball over, particularly in that midfield, and to really move it up. And they managed to get behind the Giants defenders and just find a way inside the forward 50. However, it was so sloppy in the forward 50. They just didn't hit targets. There was a lot of bombing also, a lot of bombing inside forward, and you can't really do that, especially if you're trying to be a top 4 side. You just can't do that. You look at how Adelaide play, and they don't just bomb it inside forward 50 and hope for the best. Actually, they actually always keep their eyes looking downfield and looking for a target, and they always hit their targets. So, you know, these two sides just didn't perform on the day. And this is GWS's... Like, yes, they did win the game, but I feel like it was still a blunder for them. I still feel like they just didn't perform or at their usual, at their average rate. And, you know, it's highly disappointing. It really is. You know, and, like, Shield got 29 disposals. He was outstanding. And it was actually quite a low. So there was a lot of sharing with the ball. So yeah, a lot of players did. So you look at Dalhouse 27, McRae 26, Daniel 24, McLean, Suckling, Bontempelli 22, Johannesson, Murphy 21, Hunter 20. So you see the Dogs are also sharing it amongst one another. And so are the Giants. Like Shill, as I said, got 29, so the highest disposals, most of our disposal of the game. Ward 27, Williams 25, Kelly, Shaw, Smith 24, Scully 23, and Taranto 20, which is actually quite surprising from Taranto. He's actually hit back after being dropped last week, so that was actually pretty good for him. Good comeback, good return. But yeah, you know, and that was the correct way of using it. That was the correct way of using it. It's not just one bloke dominating it. Like, you know, you got one team like Dangerfield dominating it for the Cats, but then you shut him down, and then Geelong just becomes a shit side. You know, you can't really play like that if you're trying to be a top 4 side. You need to have all your players having some sort of contribution to the team and to the success of that team. And yeah, at that day, the Dogs forwards just didn't contribute too well, and there was just a lot of misses. Too many misses. You can't have 10 more behinds than goals. That's just horrendous. Hell, like, to me, if you had one more behind than goal, that's horrendous. So, you know, that's pretty poor. And that's really the main area of concern for the Western Bulldogs. Besides that, they did pretty well. Though they probably should start getting those hit-outs because, you know, I was actually quite surprised how they still managed to get those centre clearances despite the fact being absolutely smashed in those hit-outs. Actually, I'm going to dissect those hit-outs for you because it's one thing to think it could be a centre clearances, but it could also be stoppage. Actually, here we go. We can break it down. So, because yeah, the Giants had two more the clearances than the Dogs, but you know, like that's interesting. Centre clearances, they had one more, and same with stoppages. So yeah, it was very even there, despite the fact they dominated hit out. So you know, I'm actually gonna look for. I want Mummy. I want to see his hit out stats. Hit outs. Yeah, Mumford 52. So he got 52 out of those 62. So that's not really that good. Let's see if it gives me some sort of indication of those hit outs. Yeah, no, it doesn't. It just doesn't break it down. Just as 52. But yeah, clearly he needs to get back next week. And in fact, who are the Giants playing next week? Don't you dare! Oh my god. We'll deal with that game later. Now, bugger off, stupid side. I literally do not like using the AFL side on the computer, and it's frozen. So I'm going to exit out of that. Keep exiting, and I'm going to shut you down because you are not performing too well. Okay, I'm going to actually use my phone. I just can't use the computer anymore. It's just shocking. Next week, the Giants play St Kilda. Actually, I'm tipping St Kilda in that game. I'm sorry, Giants fans, but the way you've been playing, I haven't been... Honestly, I don't think... I don't know, it's just... I'm just not convinced with the Giants at the moment. Like at the start of the year, I thought, oh, you know what, they're premiership favourites. But at the moment, the team that I'm loving at the moment is the Adelaide Crows, and I have no real love for the GWS Giants because they're just not. They're not performing like a premiership side. They're really. There's a lot of issues that I'm having about them. But yeah, I think Etihad Stadium against a St Kilda side that's not playing their best football. Like I know they smashed Hawthorn by 75 points, but if you actually look at the way they were playing, they were very sloppy still. It's just Hawthorn were horrendous and shocking. So that's going to be interesting. With the Dogs, they play Richmond. Yeah, they can win that game. Richmond were just, so embarrassing. Providing the Dogs actually learn how to kick straight and actually use their opportunities, they're more incapable of winning that game. But yeah, it was a lot of interest. I'm liking how the Dogs are actually playing. I feel like they're actually getting back on top and they're actually starting to dominate games. But it's just they're just not getting reward for effort. They're just not getting reward for effort. In fact, I want to actually read those rebounds for you. Because I want to see. I'm pretty sure this gives me rebounds. It's giving me rebounds, or is it just individual players that can only give me? Yeah, okay. So it's individual players that can only give me the rebounds. That's quite annoying. Yeah. All right. But yeah. Efficiency inside 50 was 42%, GWS to 44%. Like, it's still high, but remember these aren't counting just goals. They're also counting behinds. Yeah. So if they were counting goals, it'd be like 5% to like 10% in favour of the Giants, but it's not. But yeah, it's really disappointing. You got two premiership capable sides that aren't performing too well. So, and another thing that really got me was how the Giants can't really play in cold weather. I've started to notice this. If it's freezing cold temperatures, they seem to struggle. If you're a Victorian side, you seem to do pretty well, obviously, because we are much colder than what Sydney usually is. So, yeah, a lot of problems, but. For the Giants, it is a huge win. I believe they bounce up to, I think it's, what is it? Is it 5th on the ladder? No one cares about that. Don't know why that was there. Okay, so ladder, looking at the Giants, oh wow, 2nd place on the ladder to Giants. So they really just jumped right up thanks to Geelong and Richmond's howling losses. And the Dogs obviously travelled down to 7th. So, it's a must-win for the Western Bulldogs next week. I think they're more than capable of continuing the massive reality check that Richmond supporters are receiving at the moment. And as for the Giants, yeah, I just feel like they just need to just probably get back. And they I don't think they will get back next week. I think it will be a huge. I think they'll get in a bit of trouble next week against St Kilda. I think St Kilda's going to really get them something to think about. But yeah, I don't know. I just feel like there's a lot of questions that are starting to be raised between these two sides, and it will take some time for them to be answered. Really take some time. But congratulations on the GWS Giants for winning this game. It was a huge win. Every win counts. It's crucial. And yeah, good luck to both sides next week. And yeah, you all take care, stay safe, and I shall see you in the next video.